You could have your blinders up and you can only think because Amazon is so big in North America that it's like that in other countries. And you're right, these other larger marketplaces, they're there to take advantage of, but you have to know how to do that.
Lunch with no lunch with no lunch with no lunch
Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. Today, first time we're talking about this topic and talking about if it's worthwhile to expand your online business to Brazil. We're going to be discussing what the whole situation it looks like in Brazil. Why do sellers fail when they attempt to start selling in Brazil? And how can Amazon sellers start selling their products on Amazon Brazil? Welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. All right, like I was mentioning, we're going to be talking about Brazil and how to expand your online business to Brazil. Our guest is a marketing manager of Nocnoc, an all-in-one solution for Amazon sellers to start selling online in 15 different Latin American marketplaces, including Amazon Brazil, Amazon Mexico, and many others. She helps sellers expand their businesses, increase sales, and achieve success in the Latin American market. You can find her products published in their mega stores from 15 different marketplaces and reaching over 485 million consumers in Latin America. Please welcome Cecilia. I'm not even going to attempt her last name. We've already discussed this before the podcast. She's going to be coming on and telling everybody her last name because I can't pronounce it. Anyways, let's have a quick word from the sponsor and find out Cecilia's last name. I want to thank Jeff Schick Legal for sponsoring this episode of Lunch with Norm. You've probably heard on the podcast about Amazon suspensions. They're very real. It can happen at any time. And when it does happen, how do you get out of it? How does the little guy like you and me get out of these suspensions without paying an arm and a leg in legal fees? This is where Jeff Schick Legal is here to help. For a very low monthly retainer, for only $89, get access to Amazon attorney Jeff Schick. That's right. You can sit back, relax, enjoy that cup of coffee while listening to the Lunch with Norm podcast, knowing that you have an advocate and a partner in your business success. But wait, just mention Lunch with Norm and receive 50% off the first 2 months. Get the protection you need and visit jeffschick.com today. That's JEFFSCHICK.com. Now let's get back to the show and let's welcome Cecilia.
Hey there, how are you, Norm?
I'm doing great. Now, the mystery. Like I
Yes.
noticed it's Cecilia M. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
I wasn't taking a chance on this name.
It's really hard. It's really hard, I know, but my surname is Mejidichan. It's hard to pronounce, so Cecilia M is just fine.
So Smith in English.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. You know what? This is such a great topic, and I hope everybody takes advantage of the topic today because selling in Latin America is huge. Selling in Brazil is difficult, and I've heard all sorts of stories about Brazil. It's a huge marketplace, and people are wondering how do they take advantage of it. But I want to go back just a little bit and talk about the marketplace itself. How big is the Brazil marketplace? Some people don't realize how big this is.
Well, yes, it's really, really big. I mean, when you compare it to other Latin American countries and also to other countries in the world, it's definitely stands out. Brazil has over 212 million inhabitants and an internet penetration of 74%. And the e-commerce market in Brazil is valued at, I think it was 54 billion USD, which is over a third of the total e-commerce market share in Latin America. So it's really, really big. And it's a huge opportunity and one of the most attractive destinations for sellers who are looking to expand their business in new markets.
One of the things we've talked about is your listings, even like your Amazon listings on .com. People will put it in Spanish, but they forget about Portuguese.
Yes, that's right.
Portuguese is huge, and I think if you are looking at creating the last bullet or putting it in your meta tag, you've got you've got Spanish and you've got Portuguese that I would definitely consider. I don't know if a lot of people are doing that, but Portuguese is the language of Brazil. It's not Spanish.
Yeah, that's true. It's Portuguese, and I will give you an interesting fact about Brazil. Only 1% of Brazil population speak English fluently. So sometimes most sellers copy and paste their titles, their product titles, and they forgot that most Brazilians don't understand English. So that's another point to discuss. And it's really worth, it's really important to put the titles and descriptions in Portuguese.
Well, that's a rabbit hole that really didn't even consider talking about today, but translation. So don't go over to Google Translate and just copy Portuguese, because you'll probably come out with some real weird combination of Portuguese. Is that correct? Is that correct?
Right. No, that's completely correct. That's the importance of having like a local team, a local team that is in charge of listing the products and also providing like customer support to customers, replying questions and everything.
Let's talk about the situation in Brazil. What is it like from the e-commerce side?
Right. So I wanted to discuss about two things about the commerce in Brazil. The first one is marketplaces. So unlike other regions, unlike the US or even Canada, uh, marketplaces in Latin America are highly fragmented. There are a lot of marketplaces competing on a level playing field. And just to give you an example, the eight biggest marketplaces represent 0.5% of total e-commerce sales, and the other 50% is composed with hundreds of marketplaces. So it's really divided, and that's one of the biggest difference between the US, for example, and Brazil or Latin America, that there are a lot of marketplaces and all of them are really big and important. Um, and yeah, and the thing I wanted to discuss is, well, it's also related. It's about the popularity of Amazon Brazil there in Latin America. Amazon Brazil is one of the top 3 marketplaces. It's just below Mercado Libre, which is the biggest marketplace in the region. And it has become really popular lately. Users are increasing year to year, and it attracts over 92 million visitors per month. So that's a huge opportunity for Amazon sellers who want to expand their Amazon business to other countries.
So, yeah, sometimes, you could have your blinders up and you can only think, because Amazon is so big in North America, that it's like that in other countries. And you're right, these other larger marketplaces, they're there to take advantage of, but you have to know how to do that. Where an agency, and I'm not promoting your agency, I have nothing to do with your agency, but I'm just saying an agency in the marketplace would be probably worthwhile, because you know the local culture, you know the larger marketplaces, and like you said, there's all these other marketplaces that somebody could take advantage of. So in North America, it's a completely different situation. You have to be aware. We talk about omni-channel, but it is so different when we go down into Latin America and especially into Brazil.
Yes. And well, another key point to consider is not just the domestic sale, domestic e-commerce sales in Brazil or in Latin America, but also the increasing cross-border e-commerce sales of Brazil. Latin America, last year, the cross-border sales increasing 44%, and Brazil was a little below that was 39%. But cross-border sales are increases really fast, and more people are aware of this trend and are buying stuff overseas. Some years ago, they were like scared of buying cross-border because they thought that maybe they will get scammed or the products will never arrive. But now people are aware of this and are buying products that they can't find in Brazil, are buying products cheaper or from different suppliers. So this trend is here to keep growing, and sales are increasing a lot. So the opportunity for cross-border sellers who want to try this is immense.
So, and I just want to say this to the listeners. If you do have questions about this, this is an opportunity to talk to Cecilia about getting on to Brazil. It's something that I'm not in Brazil. I don't have those answers. I want Cecilia to become part of the Facebook group so she can answer these questions. But Brazil, for me, has always been something I've heard it was a very tough market. So if you have questions about getting listed in Latin America, please throw them our way so we can get them answered. All right. So now let's move on. You were talking about the top platforms. Can we just go through a list of the platforms that people should be looking at in Brazil?
Yes, sure. So the top platforms are, for example, Mercado Libre, Americanas, Casas Bahia, Extra, Magazine Luiza. There are a lot more, but those attract the highest portion of users. I maybe after the podcast, I can give you a complete list
Sure.
for people that are interested to know, because the list is really huge. But well, I just mentioned some of the biggest ones. Mercado Libre remains in the first place. It's a really huge marketplace, not only in Brazil, but also in all Latin America. It's in 18 countries, and it attracts like 270 million users every month. So it's really huge. And that's another really interesting opportunity for Amazon sellers or sellers who want to try different markets, not only Amazon. I think Mercado Libre is a great choice.
All right. And yes, if you could just give us that breakdown. Now, what was the stat again for the top marketplaces compared to everything else?
Sorry, can you say
You
again?
said at the beginning there was a stat from the top marketplaces compared to all the rest of the, I forget how many you said, but all the micro marketplaces.
Yes, like the 8 biggest marketplaces represent 50% of total marketplace sales, and the other 50% is composed with 100 marketplaces. They are really small, but they they have also a small portion of sales. So in this way, what this means is that sellers can diversify their sales even more, their sales channels even more. There are lots of different platforms to try, and all platforms have their own traffic, their own users. So in that sense, it's a great way to diversify your sales, increase your traffic, explore new platforms. And also about coming back to why the opportunity to start selling cross-border. When you sell cross-border, for example, if US, Canadian sellers want to try Latin America, they can sell products that I don't know, they are on sale, for example, in US, but they want to try it on Brazil, or products from different seasons, also like leftover products. Like they can try products that maybe don't sell well in the US, can't sell well in Latin America. So that's like another interesting point to mention.
Yeah, one of the things I was talking to Afalabi about, who's my partner over at Honu, is that we've been hearing about let's say you have a slow moving product in Latin America, and no country in particular, but your slow moving products can really move quite quickly in that marketplace, which I found really interesting. So I don't really think about, okay, so I've got 80% coming out of these SKUs. Maybe my blue and my green widget aren't moving at all. Why not try selling them in Latin America and start moving the product? And it's really different if you don't know these different marketplaces. And I'll give you another example. So I sell soap. And I know just from living in Hawaii that the Japanese community loves Hawaii. They love and they will buy anything Hawaiian. So some of my soap is Hawaiian soap in the Japanese marketplace. And instead of $10 a bar, they can sell for $20 to $30 a bar just because it's Hawaiian. So same thing with Latin America. If you know the marketplace and you know what will move, then you can take some of your inventory and either perceived value, mark it up, or slow movers, just try to resell. So just another advantage of it. One of the other topics I want to hit on today, especially, is the issues trying to get set up in Brazil.
Yeah.
How come it's so hard?
Yeah. So, as you said, it's a big pain for sellers to expand alone to Brazil. It's really difficult. It has a lot of different challenges. I think it will never be easy because it's Brazil, even if it's one of the most attractive e-commerce markets in the world, it's also one of the most dangerous, one of the most risky regions to start like a business alone. And therefore, many sellers fail when they try to expand to Brazil. I try to think like what are the biggest pains, the biggest challenge for sellers, and I came up with a little list that I want to discuss with you.
Sure.
So the first pain, the first challenge that many sellers have to face is last mile delivery issues. So first of all, in Brazil, deliveries last longer and are riskier than compared with US or Europe. Here we don't have, or I mean, we have DHL or FedEx, but if you use those carriers to deliver your products, it will be really expensive and no one will buy them. So the solution is to buy like smaller logistic providers, but most of them don't use route optimization. Some really cheap providers like tracking, and that means that they are really less efficient. On the other hand, also one of the most intimidating aspects of selling in Brazil is security. Even in the most secure areas, sellers sometimes have the risk of having their product stolen. So
can I stop you there for a second?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, and I'd be shocked if this was the case. In Canada, anyways, Amazon drivers, I don't even get a knock on the door. They just drop their packages and run. Yeah, I don't. That doesn't happen in Brazil, right?
No. In Brazil or in Latin America, if you deliver something,
Yeah.
even if it's like, I don't know, like next to the door, but there is like, I don't know, another smaller door, like preventing, products will be stolen. Like people here stole a lot. It's really difficult to deliver the products. I mean, to make sure that the products are delivered good, okay, you need to give it to on the hands of the person.
So it's still one-to-one delivery.
Yes, one-on-one. And logistic providers need your signature, like it's like mandatory, because they can't, because if something happens to the product, in most cases the seller had to pay for that loss. It's really risky.
Yeah. I don't even know why Amazon has been doing, and I'm not sure if it's all throughout the States, but I know in my little town, they'll just put it on the patio and go on their way. Now, some other delivery companies will knock on the door and, hand you the package, but I think this is crazy what Amazon's doing. I know it might look better on the bottom line just because they, get those extra few seconds, but it really sucks having to not know that you've got packages at your door. And we order a lot from Amazon. So anyway, that's a whole other topic. Okay,
Yeah,
so I've
that's great.
interrupted you on your second point. What is the next point?
Yeah, the next point is uh, another really big and problematic point, that is dealing with customs, because customs here in Brazil or in any other Latin American country are always changing, and also the movement of products is heavily regulated. So I will give you an example. The average import in Brazil takes 16 days, whereas in other, the average the import day worldwide is 7.5 days. So it's 10 days longer than the average, which is crazy. I mean, and some sellers need to deliver the products to receive the money. So sometimes sellers have to wait like a month until they get paid because of this, because deliveries take a lot of time. And well, another point also in terms of this is that usually custom authorities may not allow your products to enter the country if the price or weight is above a certain threshold. So, for example, in Brazil, if products weigh more than 30 kilos, you can't import that. Or if they cost more than 50 USD, you must pay a tax rate. So most of the time, people don't want to purchase things that are above $50, 50 USD, because they will have to pay like 60% tax rate, which is really high compared to the price of the product.
Right. And there's also, excuse me, there's also a big problem with setting up a business.
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry about that. I had a frog in my throat. Yeah. So setting
No.
up a business is a major issue in Brazil, isn't it?
Yes, it is. In most cases, sellers who want to start selling in different marketplaces need to open a legal entity, which takes time. It needs like a legal representative there, and it's not like immediate. So that's another key point. Like, if you want to open a business, uh, sometimes it will take time, and even the different marketplaces will require like different information. So it's not like you can, okay, I open a legal entity and I will work with this entity in the different marketplaces. So yeah, that's another point. And I have another pain also that is
Uh-huh.
really one of the biggest reasons why sellers lose money when they start selling cross border. That is cancellations and returns, because consumer protection laws in Brazil are really strong. So when a consumer wants to return their product, they will they can do it. This is regulated. So I think it is 7 days. I'm not completely sure, but I think it was, they have like up to 7 or 10 days to decide if they want the product or not. So if they receive it, and after 7 days they don't want it anymore, they can return it for free. And if the seller is like in the US or in Canada or in other country, the logistic to return that product back is really complicated. So most of the time the products remain there in customs, and it's like a loss because the seller will pay for that, and they won't get any money back. Yeah, that's another big problem, like the logistic needed to return the products, and if a seller can sell or want to return the product.
All right. Okay, we're hitting the bottom of the hour. Love to hear from any of the listeners if they have any questions. One sec, I'm going to cough again. And I haven't been smoking any cigars. I don't know why this is happening. Anyway, What are your questions? Have you tried to get into Brazil? Have you tried to get into Latin America? What's stopping you as a seller to get in or to cross the border from .com into any of the marketplaces south of the border? I'd like to hear from you. I know I'm not, and I just have to take that next step. But I'd love to hear from the listeners. What is holding you back? Now, let's talk about the giveaway today. We've got a couple of really cool things, and one is from our listeners, from our listener, Tony Sagar. But first of all, Cecilia, why don't you tell everybody about what you're looking to provide everyone who's listening?
Okay, yes, sure. So for the first 2 months, we are offering a 5% chargeback on all sales made through Nocnoc. Simply, you need to mention that you heard about Launch with Norm podcast, and if we open an account for you, you will have this benefit immediately.
That's awesome. So it is 5% off of the, or 5% back for the first 2 months. And that's if you're getting set up with Nocnoc. Now, just to understand, because we really haven't talked about anything about Nocnoc, except that they represent companies in Latin America. So we'll get into that in the second half. But it just takes the pain points out of the whole setup. The second part is Tony. So for one individual in who's listening, Tony's got these new pillows that we were talking about on the podcast yesterday. These wool pillows that are fantastic. They're quality products. These are not cheap pillows, and he's willing to give two of them away to a lucky winner today. So I think that's awesome. Thank you so much, Tony. And if you want to get if you want to get any of these, just hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. You'll be entered in to get the free pillows as well. Tag two people, and you'll get a second entry. And for the Nocnoc giveaway, you just have to go to Nocnoc. And I want to state that I do not have an affiliate link. I have nothing to do with Nocnoc. That 5% is strictly coming back. I am not making a penny off of that. All right. So with that being said, let's go to a commercial. Launching products isn't like it used to be. To successfully launch your product, you need to hit that algorithm from all sides. Driving external sales, boosting social signals, and increasing product listing engagement are fundamental to success. Rebate is the first and only launch platform that delivers across this broad range. Get your product featured on Amazon.live through Rebate's influencer program. With this service, your product gets instant exposure to large audiences of shoppers and permanent placement on Amazon Influencer Storefront, which drives perpetual sales. Run a sweepstakes campaign on Rebate and connect with shoppers off Amazon. And lastly, drive external sales with tried and true deals campaigns. Visit rebate.com today and get started with your 14-day free trial. Okay, and we're back. Okay, so one of the things I do want to talk about, there's a difference between doing this yourself and doing this with a company like yours, like Nocnoc. How does this work? How are these two different?
Okay, so yes, I mean, if you want to do it alone, you will need a logistic provider that helps you with deliveries. You will need like a marketing partner to help you with campaigns and to succeed in different marketplaces. You will need a local team to provide consumer support, pre-sales, post-sales. You will need to study about customs in Brazil, which are changing a lot lately, and a lot of more partnerships and different providers, because it's really hard to do this like alone. I mean, if you want to start selling cross-border like a local, it's better to have a partner with one company like Nocnoc that does all of that. So what is Nocnoc? I will start with that. What is
Sure.
Nocnoc? So Nocnoc we are like an all-in-one solution for Amazon sellers, but also for any seller that want to start selling online in Latin America, like a local. And the only thing they had to do is to open an account with us, which is as simply as to sign up to enter some information about, for example, your store link, if you already sell cross-border or not, your company name. And once you sign up, a Nocnoc expert will get in touch with you and will open an account with you. And as soon as your account is open, that all of this can be made in under 48 hours. You have to upload your product catalog to our platform, to our Nocnoc Seller Center. And after that, all your products will be like automatically published in our 15 different mega stores in 15 different marketplaces. So just to put you an example, if a seller sign ups to Nocnoc, opens their account, and I don't know, they upload 1,000 SKUs on Nocnoc, those will be automatically published in Mercado Libre, Americanas, Amazon Mexico, Amazon Brazil, automatically. And once they get a sale, we will notify them, and all they need to do is like to send the order to our warehouses. That we have one warehouse in the US, we have another warehouse in China for Chinese sellers. And after they send the order to our warehouse, we will take care of everything else. So we will send the product to for example, to Brazil. We will deliver the product. We will do like the consumer support, the pre-consumer support, the post-sales consumer support. We will answer all consumer questions. We will be like, we also provide advice to sellers about if a product will be a good fit for the Latin American market or not. We also provide advice about how to set competitive prices here in Latin America, about which title to use. I mean, we also do that if we see like, we do translations in Portuguese, of course. So Nocnoc is like the only one solution. Then the only thing sellers need to do is to send the product to our warehouse once order is I mean, when someone buys, when an order is completed, and then we do everything else. And the main benefit of start selling in Nocnoc is that we have.
Is that my internet that just went bonkers?
Sorry. Okay.
There we
They
go.
have like a good store reputation. So most people already known us. Most Brazilian consumers already know who we are. They rate us really good in different sites. So that of course helps sellers who are unknown in Latin America to gain visibility, to maximize their conversion rates. And I think like it's a really good opportunity for sellers who want to start to diversify their sales channels into new markets, and they are afraid of doing so because all of these complex situations, all the complexity of Brazil and other Latin American countries. So as soon as they partner with Nocnoc, we will take care of everything else and help them succeed in Brazil and in Latin America. And as I said before, all of this can be done in under 48 hours because as soon as they sign up, our team will review their registration, and then we will open the account and they can start selling right away.
I'm just going to get this straight because I know a little bit of Brazil, and it's 48 hours, you just stated. So to get your party sent, get set
Yes.
up, approved, and going. I know this, that try setting up a business in Brazil, and for a foreign entity, that could take 6 months. It could take a year before you're approved, or you might not even be approved. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. And I think it takes up to 6 months, for example, for your products to appear on the top 3 pages of some marketplaces.
Yep.
Because due to the algorithm of marketplaces, they rank higher the products that come from like trusted stores That's the case of Mercado Libre and also the case of other marketplaces. So in this sense, if you open, if in the case if that you open a legal entity and you want to start selling your products in Brazil, no one will know you. No one will know who you are.
Right.
They won't know your products. You need to create that and build that reputation, that online reputation that can take years to to be built. So Nocnoc helps you. I mean, we have our own strong reputation, so you will be selling your products through our top ranked stores, and you will take advantage of that immediately.
So I'm very curious. I just want to let the sellers know so you can go ahead and do this on your own. But when you go to Knock Knock, and I'm not sure about your competition, but what kind of fees would be associated with that?
So there is no like a setup fee, so the seller can start selling without paying a subscription or anything. Then, if they have like a huge volume on sales and such, our sales team will discuss with them like a subscription fee. But that depends on the amount of sales. That depends on a lot of different scenarios. So the reason why we say that Nocnoc is like a risk-free solution is because if the seller tries Nocnoc and they don't want to spend a penny, they don't want to spend nothing on it, they can simply like delete their account. So we offer like it's free to set up and to start selling through Nocnoc. That's completely sure.
Okay, but can you give us a rough estimate on, let's say a person has 10 product SKUs. What would that be? Or is there an average group product amount of products that people are selling?
No, I can't. I don't know because I'm not like a seller, so I don't know really. But you can talk to sales, and they will reply to you as soon as possible, and they will give you an estimate. I mean, the thing is, the seller that wants to start selling through Nocnoc will, for example, will set a price for the products, and he will receive that price. Then Nocnoc gets like a little small fee for all the product prices, but the seller will like say, okay, I want this to be $10, and he will get $10. Then Nocnoc will get like a little addition about of the price that is published on the store, but that won't affect like how much money will the seller get. But again,
Okay.
I'm not an expert on that area, so maybe it's better that all the interested people in knowing that talks with sales.
I just like backing people into the corner. So anyway, yeah. So if you are interested in this, and this is very intriguing to me as well, because like I didn't know that you could like you're going to publish and blast this out to all these different storefronts. And it's represented, and you're up there 48 hours, you get approved. I mean, this sounds really interesting for me. Oh, thank you, Connie. My wife is back, and now I can get rid of my cold coffee. Thank you. But a whole new look. Look at that. There we go. All right. So it is very intriguing because you can take all your products and get them up in all of these stores in a very quick period of very fast. So if anybody is interested, how do they reach your sales department? Is it just sales at Knock Knock?
Yes, sellers at knocknockstore.com, or they can visit our website, which is knocknockstore.com, and they will have a link that says like let's start or sign up. And as soon as they sign up, someone here will be in charge of reviewing your store and providing a feedback, because maybe again, like some stores may be good for the US or Canada, but are not good for Latin America or Brazil. So we are open and we are really honest and say whether if your products are a fit in Latin America or not.
Yeah.
And if they are, yes, it's like really fast. We will contact you and open an account for you, and you can start right away.
Okay. So I've another question for you. Say I'm going to use my product. So I've got this soap. It's fabulous soap. But anyways, I have this soap and I want to send it down there, and I have all these different product SKUs. Now, none of the labeling, none on the box is in Portuguese. How do you handle that? Do I have to repackage everything?
Could you repeat again, sorry, because I had like a low connection.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. So I've got
Yeah.
product that I want to send you, and all the packaging is in English. There's no Portuguese. How do I handle that? Like,
You
would
mean
you,
like
do
the
I need to
packaging?
repackage it? Like, let's say I have this bar of soap. Okay,
Yeah.
let's say I have this shower
Okay.
cap, which I use every day. So this shower cap, and this is all in English.
Yeah.
To sell it in Brazil, do I have to repackage this and put it all in Portuguese?
No, not really. I mean, we sell the same product that you have. We don't like, it's not necessary to do a repackage because, for example, when you list that product in Mercado Libre, in Amazon, we in the description will translate it to Portuguese. So in
Oh,
that
very
sense,
good.
the consumer will know all the facts and will read the description of the product. And also, if they have a question about it because they don't understand the packaging or whatever, they will reach to us and we will reply. So
Hmm.
in that sense, it's not necessary to repackage anything. I
Okay,
mean,
and what
yeah,
about compliance? So I know for a fact that there's certain compliance in Europe for soap compared to Canada. Canada is whacked. But the US, I can label it a certain way, put the ingredients a certain way. In Canada, I have to do it differently. So there's different compliances. If I send the soap down to you, are you going to check the compliance to see that everything um, fits so I can start selling the soap?
no, yes, we do that. We do that. I mean, we take into account all the customs regulations. Uh, if something is not compliant, we will tell you because we want to make sure that the products won't be like retained in customs. So of course, we provide advice on that. We review all the SKUs to make sure that they can be sold, that they comply with the market. For example, there are some products that can be imported to Brazil, such as Sherwoodley. And in other countries, like for example Mexico, you can't import certain dolls; they are forbidden. So we
Yep.
know all of these. We have a list of like forbidden items and such. And if there is something that needs like a certain standard, we will let you know because yeah, we want to make sure that products can be imported
Right.
here.
Well, that sounds great. All right. So Kelsey, I think there's a few questions here. Can we get to them?
Yeah, we have a couple from Chuck, and if anyone else has any other questions, just let us know. And I also want to remind everyone we are giving away 2 Australian wool-filled pillows. It's US, Canada only. So just let us know. Write hashtag Wheel of Kelsey to enter. And for available for everyone, Nocnoc is offering for the first 2 months a 5% chargeback on all sales made through Nocnoc. So let's get into some questions from Chuck. I have a seasonal product. Does Brazil have opposite seasons than the US as far as climate?
Yes, not only we have like opposite seasons. Here is summer now; it's really hot outside. But also we have certain festivities that are not common in the US. For example, Child's Day or Father's Day, Mother's Day is different here from the US. I recently wrote an article. I think it's not published yet, but it's about a marketing calendar for sellers in Latin America. So sellers know like all the different festivity dates because yeah, there are lots of different days. For example, in Mexico you have El Buen Fin, which is similar to Black Friday. In Brazil, you have like el Día de los Enamorados, like it's like San Valentin, but you have like a huge opportunity to like make a huge volume of sales all through all the year because there are like high peaks in different countries. So if you, for example, partner with Nocnoc, we make sure that all those special days we participate in the marketplaces. So we want to make sure like the products will get high sales. And for example, to give you another example, in Christmas, a very popular product here were like beach toys and sport toys, because people here is like celebrating Christmas outside on the beach. It's summer, so yeah, we have like a huge volume of sales in those categories. So it's a great way to also to take advantage of the differences between a country and another, and like to have a huge volume of sales.
What are some of the other countries that you're selling into?
Right now, Nocnoc is in Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, Chile, and Argentina, and we are planning to expand to more countries. But yeah, those are the 5 countries we are in right now.
Very good. All right, Kels, next one.
Okay, next one. Some of these questions may have been answered throughout the interview already, but I'll just reread them. From Chuck again. Does Amazon provide FBA in Brazil, or do you need to use a 3PL in Brazil and use your own carrier?
Okay, so in the case of Nocnoc, if you partner with us, you will only need to send the products to our warehouse in Miami, and then we will deliver them, and you won't need a 3PL or yes, like
So
it's
the
really
product
simple.
goes to Miami and you take care of it from there.
Yeah.
Okay. But just a sec. But if you're doing it on your own and you get into the Brazilian marketplace, they do have FBA, correct?
Yes, I think
Yeah.
so. I'm not entirely sure about it, but I think I have read that, yeah, it does have an APA. But
Okay.
just to make sure, I will double check that later and give you a proper response on that.
Okay.
All right. From Claudia, how big is the Brazilian market for Amazon?
Well, I think it was in 2021, for example, sales in Amazon Brazil reached $1 billion USD, and like monthly visitors are around 92 million monthly visitors. So it's really huge. It's on the top 3 marketplaces in Brazil, and one of the top 5 in Latin America. So it's really and also the popularity is growing like year to year. It's getting more and more sales because people see that marketplaces succeed in the US, and they are really familiar with it, so they start buying through Amazon Brazil.
But if you're selling on Amazon Brazil, the big marketplace, what was it called again?
Mercado Libre.
And how many sales is that?
No, yeah, Mercado Libre sales are bigger. I think Mercado Libre sales are around 7 or 8 billion USD, and visitors are around 2,070 million monthly visitors per month. But if you partner through Nocnoc, you can start selling in Mercado Libre, because we try to diversify the products in the different marketplaces. There are some sellers that tell us, please just publish our products in only Mercado Libre, but we recommend them to publish them in the 15 different marketplaces, because for them will be the same. They only have to worry about the first delivery, that is the delivery to our warehouse, and then we take care of everything
That's
else.
the beauty of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and Claudia just mentioned, can you spell that, please? Claudia, we're going to get a list and we'll be publishing it for you after Cecilia gets off the podcast today. All right, Kels.
Okay, and we have one last question. I think we kind of answered this talking about Miami, but is there someone you would refer to handle the taxes and importing to Brazil?
Sorry, so if here is someone that can like provide advice on taxes, and I think I didn't get the question, sorry.
Yeah, I guess if they're not using your service, is there anybody that can help with the customs and duties and importing into Brazil?
Oh, okay, so yes, I think there are other companies that only help with that. I'm not sure. And the other thing is that they could do is like to read the government website, because they have like a website about forbidden items and taxes. But I'm not sure if there is like a specific company just to help them. But we can, I mean, without any compromise, we can, if you send us an email, for example, last day I received an email about a seller who wanted to import cell phones, and I told him like it's not recommended because cell phones are expensive and they will need to pay like a huge tax. So you can like send us an email and simply ask us, okay, I want to sell this in Brazil. Is it recommendable? And we will reply. There's no charge for that.
Very good. And yeah, I mean, if you are a Nocnoc a subscriber or client, they'll take care of that for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that brings us to the end. If you're interested in our prize today, which from Tony Cigar, and I hope he's on the podcast today. Usually I see him in the podcast, but he's offering 2 Australian wool pillows. I know they're awesome. I have one. Claudia just said that she won them. I'm not sure if it was on our podcast or if it was on I guess it would have been through the podcast, but she loved them. They are incredible. When you talk about perceived value, whoever wins this, let me know what you think. Tony does a great job with perceived value, the packaging, the branding, the quality. Anyways, these are 2 pillows that somebody's going to some winner's going to get. They're not cheap. You can check it out on his website, on Amazon down under, and they're very good quality. So somebody's going to get 2 of these. And anybody who's interested in Nocnoc, check it out, because Nocnoc's giving 2 months 5% back refund back to anybody who's listening right now. And based on what I've heard today, and I don't have an affiliation, I don't get a discount, I don't get anything like that. I would love to get more information and start selling some of my products into the Brazilian market. First of all, I had no idea that 48 hours get approved and I get into all these marketplaces, and you're handling it all, and I don't have to change my packaging. That's all. I was not expecting that when we started our call today. So anyways, that's very cool. So all you have to do, I think Kelsey's put it up, where to get a hold of Nocnoc, and where to get a hold of Cecilia. And I won't say your last name. What was your last name again?
Mercedes-Benz.
Oh, there you go. Smith in English. Okay. So anyways, let's go to a sponsor and then go right over to the wheel. A big thank you to our sponsor, Post Purchase Pro, the only complete A to Z done for you real email and text marketing service built specifically for Amazon sellers. Post Purchase Pro creates all of your digital assets 100% for you, from marketing inserts, complete sales funnels, email follow-up sequences, and weekly email promotions. They manage and optimize everything for you to drive more sales, get higher ranking, and receive more reviews on Amazon. So check out Post Purchase Pro now to see if you too will see enormous growth like their nearly 500 clients worldwide. That's Post Purchase Pro at postpurchasepro.com/lunch. All right, I just saw a message from Christine, and it is to me, it seems like a really great opportunity as well. All right, so let's go over to the Wheel of Kelsey. You've never seen the Wheel of Kelsey, but you'll get to experience it today.
All right, here we go.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone who entered today's Wheel of Kelsey. We do this every single podcast, and we'll shuffle these up and see who today's winner is.
This is, I believe it's roughly a $250 value today too. Oh, look at that!
So we have Christine, who snuck in at the end. Congratulations.
You're lucky. You and Rich are
That-
going to love these pillows, Christine.
All right, and then we'll do it one more time for the second pillow,
Oh, I thought they were the both.
or for the both. Okay, yeah, I might have misunderstood.
Yeah. Slap you in the head.
All
Okay,
right, there we go. Well, congratulations, Rick and Christine. I hope you guys enjoy your pillows.
All right. Very good. So, Cecilia, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. You opened my eyes to, I understand a little bit about the Latin American market, but you've opened my eyes to Brazil and the power of really reaching the audience out there in a fairly simple manner. So, listeners, if you are, take advantage of Christine's, I'm thinking Christine and Rich, okay, of Cecilia's offer of the 5% for the refund on the last 2 months. And again, don't have an affiliate or anything, completely transparent with you. And I'd check it out. I'm going to be checking it out as well. All right. Thank you so much for coming on. It was a real pleasure having you here.
Thank you very much to you for the opportunity, and it was really fun, and I was really excited to be here, talk to you, and also I'm happy to talk about a topic that is not really common with Latin America and Brazilian markets. So thank you very much for that.
You're very welcome. So really appreciate it. And I'm sure I'm like everybody else. I learned something today that there's certain things I was expecting, but you dropped some really great gold, like some nuggets on me. I don't like the word nugget, but anyways, I learned a lot here. So thanks again. And I hope everybody learned something. If you haven't, rewatch the episode, because you're bound to learn something about this marketplace and the ability to get into that marketplace really quickly and probably get some pretty good sales. So check it out. Nocnoc. I'm going to be checking them out as well. Want more great information? Don't forget to subscribe by clicking here. Also, if you want to check out our latest podcast, click over here.
Lunch with Nocnoc.